recently there was a fight, or two fights to be exact, between a UFC fighter, an Israeli, a Jewish UFC fighter, and a fan of Nick Fuentes, and then somebody who wanted to defend that fan of Nick Fuentes' honor. So apparently there was a challenge made, and this guy, this fan of Nick Fuentes, who has some pretty interesting views about the Holocaust, like, oh, what exactly around 6 million? Like, I don't know about that. He kind of changes his tone when he meets the UFC fighter in person, trying to reel in his views a tiny bit. He's saying, oh, he's not really that hateful. A lot of it is just trolling, whatever that means. But then he still repeats a lot of the talking points. It still stands by, you know, a pretty anti-Semitic, pretty bigoted content creator in his content. So, you know, the UFC fighters still didn't take to it well. And so what we got was some pretty vicious sparring footage. It didn't really even feel that much like a sparring match, more than just like a small match, really. So let's watch it, because I don't know how much commentary I can add before a segment that's just UFC fighting Jew beats up Nick Fuentes fan. Like that, the story is made in and of itself. Okay, let's watch. For the record, guy on the left is the UFC fighter, guy on the right, Nick Fuentes fan.
Who's Nick Fuentes? Tell me.
So Nick Fuentes is the leader of America First.
I fucking hate women, like I just do. It's not a joke.
It's a political movement based on furthering Christian values in the United States.
We started talking on Twitter, right?
Yeah, no, I was just messing around. Yeah.
Oh, you were messing around?
Yeah, no, I'm not a hateful person. I love everybody, you know.
First impression of seeing Ben in the gym.
We got white pussy!
Why were you talking shit about Jews on Twitter? Why were you defending Nicholas Fuentes?
Well, I think because of what he says is right. I mean, you can layer that behind a mask.
He denies the Holocaust.
I think it's more revisionist. So, you know, not all aspects of it.
Like what?
Whether it be like numbers that might, you know, have been different over the years. You know, just things like that.
How much do you think people killed?
I wouldn't know off the top of my head.
You know what's crazy about like the Holocaust conversation is not only is Nick Fuentes wrong about the Holocaust, just to put that out there for a moment, but let's for a moment say that the number wasn't 6 million, but it was really like 5 million, or it was like 5.5 million, or it was like 4.5 million, right? Unless he could somehow prove it was an like it was actually like 10,000 or 20,000, like there was exponentially just wrong. It wasn't some widespread genocide on an industrial scale, on such an industrial scale that made it stand out in comparison to other acts of ethnic cleansing and other atrocities known to history, just because how widespread, well managed, and industrial that it was. That's what really made the Holocaust stand out, and its brutality, just how widespread it was, how many millions of people it wiped out, and sometimes how the war effort would go out of its way that would undermine the war effort specifically just to kill more Jews. That I hear some people, a lot of revisionists, I don't know if Nick Fuentes believes this, but this is something I've seen a little bit more, so I did want to talk about this for a moment. I've seen some revisionists start to say that it was just really about like labor and having good labor towards the war effort, and it was just about really having prisoners do it. You don't understand. But the thing that really gets me when I read about these reports towards the end of the war of how they were trying to manage the like I'm not going to call it labor pool. I'm going to call it their slave army of people who were working in these camps that they would then try to, you know, march to death, is that they would take resources that were desperately needed at the front, men and personnel, to make sure to relocate Jews at camps that were at threat of being liberated to other death camps, knowing that it wasn't really going to help the war effort at all, and they were explicitly going out of their way just to make sure they could take as many Jews down with them. And that's the type of orders that were going out at the end too, when cities were getting liberated, when towns were getting captured, and their German Reich was completely falling apart. All the orders that were going out to the camps wasn't, okay, just ditch. It was, kill all the Jews, then you can leave. They were going like super out of their way to make sure they could take down as many Jews as they could with them, right? And so when you have that much determination to kill the Jews, it's not that hard to believe the scale and size of the Holocaust. Definitely when you see the just piles and piles of evidence that the Germans themselves left for us to find. Not left for us to find as in they wanted us to find it, but as in they were not able to destroy all the evidence of, even though they did attempt to, but they, they kept so many documents. There was so much physical evidence, so much testimony evidence. Yeah, I think, even if it was off by like 500,000 or 1 million, why even make a, which I don't agree with, by the way, but just giving the benefit of the doubt for a moment, why would you even make a point of that? Being like, I want to make sure everyone knows that it wasn't the dastardly number of 6 million. It was the much more reasonable number of 5 million. You would have to really drastically find some new piece of evidence to reduce it to like 5,000 or something to make it so, oh, okay, maybe we don't need to care about the Holocaust that much. But that's the thing. Nick Fuentes, demonizes the Jews, and the Holocaust doesn't look good because it makes anti-Semites and people who hate the Jews look absolutely terrible. It makes them look like barbarians and savages, and that the Jewish people were clearly victimized in the Holocaust. And he doesn't want to cover that type of history because that paints them in a sympathetic picture when he wants to paint them as the enemy. Anyway, sorry. Let's watch the fight. That's the entertaining part. I said this would be an entertaining, fun segment, and now we're just talking about the Holocaust.
He's explicitly praised Hitler.
You don't know?
I honestly don't know.
Can I give you a clue?
I mean, they say 6 million.
He says Jewish people should not be allowed to participate in the U.S. government.
The 6 million number, it puts more faces to the name. Because a lot of people know people who are Jewish.
There are faces to the names.
That is true, yes.
Basically, we're having something like Taliban rule in America, in a good way.
Nick Fuentes' honor is on the line. We talked enough. I think let's start sparring.
By the way, I don't know if anybody is paying attention to Afghanistan right now, and there's a lot of reasons why Afghanistan is in the state that it is today, and it isn't solely due to the fact that it's ruled by the Taliban. There are assets that are held overseas. There are other problems, but a lot of its problems comes from the fact that a bunch of rebels that have been fighting in the mountains for 20 years, that have no clue how to govern, have taken over a country with a myriad of social and economic issues that are causing widespread poverty, widespread starvation, food insecurity, and acute food insecurity in very young children that could cause them to die of malnutrition. That's not even to talk about the unemployment crisis, the drug crisis. There's so many different issues. And I don't know how you look at that country where the Taliban is actively not reversing course on these issues and say, oh yes, let's be managed by the people who took over the country and then immediately rammed it into the ground. I don't know how you would view that as a model to be repeated.
That's what he came for. He drove all the way. Let's go to the cage.
Cool.
But apparently my little brother here is gonna troll. I hate trolls. Just make sure after this you post the time, you post the DM. I want to see how honest we're being.
Also, if anybody wants to question me that thing on the Taliban, I do want to remind people that actually the Taliban, very quickly after they took over, had to re-invite a lot of the money managers that were part of the Afghan government before, due to the fact that they didn't know how to manage the economy. I just want to throw that out there. So yes, I do think that 20 years fighting as a terrorist organization and studying, extremist ideology is not necessarily the best for trying to reform your education system or economic system. Okay, sorry, continuing.
Oh, it's all respect. It's all respect. So I'm taking as many rounds as we feel like. I am primarily a striker. I said I did karate, taekwondo, mixed with it for 8 years. I got my black belt. I've never done a 5-minute round before, but play UFC 4 a lot. That's awesome.
He plays UFC 4 a lot. Okay, well, so he's a well-trained guy. He's well-trained. He's got this.
What's up, bud? Hey, how you doing? Are you sparring?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you sign a waiver?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you did? Okay, perfect.
It's all good, Twitter isn't real life, but hey, we're in real life now, and it'll be fun,
He's just a kid, probably a dumb kid. Not gonna hurt him too bad, but
not gonna hurt him too bad.
A lesson has to be taught here about trolling. Education is painful sometimes.
He hasn't watched film on me. I have striking, I have power, I have the size.
It's a classic case of fuck around and find out.
Did he actually think that he was just gonna like look online at a UFC fighter fighting and be able to like break that down, be like, okay, I have a strategy now? Like, you know how like somebody watches this like Conor McGregor fight like another UFC fighter, and then he like high level fight and someone's on the couch drinking a beer, like, you know what that UFC fighter should do? He should hit him in the face. Oh, that's great advice, man. Yeah, I'm just, unless you know how to counter the things that he's doing, unless you have the training to do it, and it's not just knowing the physical movements to do, but having the muscle memory to do it. Like, even if you organize the whole thing in your mind, you could be like the best, like, you could be the best, you know, visionary and martial arts ever. If you don't have the muscle memory and you don't know how to like physically pull it off, then you can't use that footage for anything. I think honestly, what would have, if he wanted to, he would have to probably go to some training camp where they would look at the footage and say, okay, these are the drills you have to run to counter this, because this is something that this UFC fighter likes to do. But I don't think there's a lot of like Nick Fuentes UFC MMA like Muay Thai Sambo training camps, you know. I'm unfamiliar with the Nick Fuentes fight camp method. Oh, here it is. Come on, buddy. Go, Ben. Oh. Are they gonna let him up? He took a long time. He let that rest. He let that rest. Look at that. Okay, let's count for a second. Let's count. Come on, buddy. Go, Ben. Go, Ben. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. He let that rest for 8 seconds after he tapped.
I'm tired. I'm tired. What? I'm tired. Get him! Make him squeal! Make him squeal!
Make him squeal. You know, I couldn't imagine doing what this guy did on the left. I don't know if it's like, some people would call it bravery, or I would just call it stupidity. I mean, like, it's already extremely nerve-wracking to go into a gym and spar, period, in front of other people. Because I did box in high school. I loved boxing in high school. It was always nerve-wracking to spar in front of a lot of people. If it was an empty gym, it was a lot easier, because if I mess up, it's like, whatever, who knows what's on anyway. But if I mess up in front of a lot of people, that's more embarrassing. And the idea of messing up, definitely, if I respect a lot of those people, but messing up in front of a bunch of people who are also going to be like yelling at you and insulting you constantly the whole time because they all hate you and they like the guy that you're fighting because you were anti-Semitic towards him. I couldn't imagine. I mean, you're just kind of like deciding to walk into the lion's den, man.
Yeah, I can hear the crowd, all my teammates rooting for me.
Heavy on the body, Nathan.
Like the laughing, it's gotta feel like somebody's just shanked him every time. Like just the laughing at him. Oh my god, that can't be good. Oh,
Let's go, Ben! Come on, Ben! 40 seconds. Give him a pink belly. Give him a pink belly. Rikishi.
Little bit. Come on, finish it.
Oh, sorry, dude. Keep going. No.
Oh, he's apologizing now. Oh, he's grunting. He's okay. You know what's really screwing him over? You know what's really pissing him off? Not pissing him off and hurting him. In my experience, I've gotten hit in the face a lot of times. None of it has ever hurt as much as when I was getting hit in the stomach. None of it. I've never been hit in the face when I was boxing, and it ever hurt nearly as much when somebody really knocked the wind out of me. Never. And this guy's concentrating a lot while he's down on just like the hammer punches on the stomach and on the sides, man. That can't feel good. But man, it made him apologize. Oh man, he kicked the anti-Semitism straight out of him.
Come on, finish it.
Oh, sorry. Just keep going. No sorries.
Ooh,
Shut up.
no sorries, no sorries.
Shut up with that. Get out. Get up.
No sorries.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Come on, do that shit again, Rudy.
5 seconds, finish him, man.
Oh.
Dude, if we kept the Hippy Dippy podcast going, this was going to be the ultimate evolution.
Oh. One more round. Don't say dumb shit.
That's fucking me. Okay.
Dude, he can barely stand. He's dizzy as all hell.
He's a real deal.
I mean, like 100% over. Like he's like an anti-Semite. He deserved every punch. But again, I can't judge if there's a tiny part of my mind that's like, I respect him from coming out. But there's also like another part of my mind. It's like, would I respect somebody for like jumping into a cage with a lion after pulling its tail? Like, would I respect, oh, that's real bravery there. Or at a level, it's like, I mean, I don't know. Why? Yeah, oh, you got mauled once you got into the lion's cage? Should I respect you for that? I don't know, man. Or should I just call that stupidity? Either, but I don't know. I'm divided in my mind.
I knew he was a real deal coming in. 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust.
Murder.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. He beat the anti-Semitism actually out of him. You look at the camera. You see how many Jews died right now. 6 million were killed. No, they weren't killed. They were murdered. Oh, my God. And he's got his arm around him, too. He's looking him dead in the eye. Oh, my God.
Murdered in the Holocaust.
Okay, that's good. Now, fuck Nick Fuentes.
Nick, I failed. I know you're not a striker.
No, he can't say fuck Nick Fuentes. He'll now admit to the horrors of the Holocaust, but he cannot say fuck Nick Fuentes. He will not abandon that.
Wrestler, but if you'd like to come,
You got a big mouth, though. He came in, he was like, oh, I'm not a hateful person. I was just trolling online. Like, okay, so you're not a neo-Nazi, but you're still a troll. One lesson in life. This one wasn't that.
I think I've learned a valuable lesson from this video. Most of our problems can be solved through violence.
Well researched, that's true.
And violence is also really funny.
This one wasn't that painful.
This one was not that painful.
The next one will be twice as painful.
Hey, did I at least got you with a couple good shots?
No.
A few moments.
I'm sorry, that kid killed. Oh, that killed me. Did I at least get you with a couple good shit? No, you didn't. You didn't hit me once, really. Nope. No, you didn't. The master race, huh?
Moments later.
There's a couple guys talking shit on Twitter about Jews.
So here's another guy. Here's another one of these guys who was talking stuff on Twitter. But the guy in question says he's not really like into anti-Semitism. He was just defending the honor of his friend, whatever. It seems like a lot of these guys, once they get in person, they're not as like quick to be like, the Jews, you know. I mean, obviously, when you're looking in front of 2 Israeli MMA fighters, you're probably gonna reel it in a little bit, huh?
We told them to come to spar and they showed up, and let's have fun.
I wanted to come down here, see what's up. Saw he gets his ass kicked, but that's fine. Everybody gotta learn. I'm not defending.
Dude, he's got the Sam Hyde shirt on. No, oh God, man. Oh God. Well, let's see how he does. Okay, let's see if he honors Sam Hyde and the guy that just got his ass beat.
Nick Fuentes, I'm defending my friend's honor.
Let's go, CJ.
Oh.
I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe he's like a Tank Abbott. We'll see in a second. No, never mind. Never mind. Oh, that can't feel good.
I got fucked up. I got my shit kicked out of me. Yeah. Pretty good though. Oh, I fucking didn't see it coming like the fifth punch. But that was pretty fun. So, good experience.
Given this experience, do you think you got to maybe reevaluate your friendships with some people?
Maybe. You know, online friendships are online friendships.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my god. Yeah, maybe a little bit. You know, online friendships, you know? You gotta get your ass beat in the UFC ring for him. You gotta defend your online friends. What a guy. What a pair. Man, I love this stuff. This is great. I love stuff like this. It's very rare that you have people come forward, like trolls come forward and do this. You know what's a great example of something like this happening? Now, I'm a big boxing fan, so I love this moment. There was this guy called, I forget what his name. Oh, what was his name? It was Deontay Wilder. He fought this troll. I forgot what Charlie Zelenoff, I believe. Yeah, so Charlie Zelenoff is this, I believe he's Russian American, but I don't really think that matters that much. He's a Russian American, I believe, but he's this guy who believes that he's like the best boxing guy ever, but he's the worst. And what I mean by he's the worst, I mean he can't throw a punch, he can't dodge a punch, he doesn't know what he's doing, and the only actual professional match he's ever had, he got his ass beat in. But he has this thing called the Underground like Boxing Federation Championship, which is a toy belt that he bought and then awarded to himself as the the champion that needs to be dethroned. And so what he'll do is he'll go find popular fighters in combat sports and he'll basically harass them, saying how scared they are of him and how they know that they would lose to him. And this was all fine and dandy for his health until he got into trouble. And he also paid like a few old retired fighters and then would spar them and then like edit it to make him look good. But this would all come crashing down on him pretty hard when Deontay Wilder, one of the hardest hitting, no, let me clarify, the hardest hitting boxer in the world today. Now, I'm not saying he's the best boxer. I mean, Tyson Fury, I think, kind of solved that riddle fighting Deontay Wilder. I love those fights. They're fantastic. The second fight, the fight was not ever a draw, though. I do want to say that. Deontay Wilder is the hardest punching boxer in the world. No doubt about it. I don't know if you've seen the man punch people, but he's punched people into what looks like near seizures. And so he decided that he was going to accept Charlie Zelenoff's request. So he came to this gym to spar Deontay Wilder. Problem is, Charlie Zelenoff is like 160-something pounds or something. Deontay Wilder is a heavyweight, like 220, like 215. Anyway, it did not go good for Charlie. But you can see it's like before and after. It's great. I love this video. Oh, and to be clear, Deontay Wilder was like heavyweight champion of the world before like Tyson Fury like dismantled him. So to be clear, like that's how far that power got Deontay. Okay, let's listen. So this is Charlie.
Sorry that I missed your call, but if you leave your name and your number, the brief message, I'll be sure to get that with you. Until then, have a blessed day.
Yes, I believe I've reached paid professional actor headquarters. Deontay Wilder, paid professional actor. Hey, listen, clown. Talking shit, huh? You remember how you ducked me in 2012 and I beat Derek the Giant? Derek the Giant would knock you the fuck out, you son of a bitch. Let me ask you something. If you're such a good fighter, why did you stage that fake match with Malik Scott, you piece of shit? If I hit you with my power, you spit your gum shield out and you spit every single tooth out, motherfucker.
Every single tooth.
Let's meet up right now.
Bum!
LA, I'm the champion. You're a fucking bum. You're a joke. Hey, I send you my last fight.
To be clear, when he says he's the champion of the championship he made up with a literal children's toy.
Kickboxer, 28 seconds, motherfucker. You want to be next? Let's get it on right now. You're a fucking clown. Hey, listen. 6'4", 300-pounder. Failed. 6'4", 300-pounder. It's on video. Tap Charlie Z versus Derek the Giant. I beat the motherfucker's ass on video. 2 different angles. You want to fight me? Let's get the fight on right now. That's it. No excuses. 2012, you agreed? You ran away. You backed out. This is it. Don't back out this time. You're a fucking clown. Let me tell you something. When I was locked up in
To be clear, again, he's talking to Deontay Wilder, the hardest hitting boxer in the world, and he's showing so much shit. Anyway, let's skip this because he just keeps talking. Let's get to the actual fight. Deontay Wilder accepted him and met him in a Los Angeles gym.
There you go. There you go. There we go.
Yeah.
That's it. Keep it on the mat. Get up. I'm gonna get up. You ain't gonna mess with nobody else. All right, man. All right. Get up. He's done. He's done. Nah, get up. You about to make me mad now. Get up. Get up. Get up. You about to get up. Get up. You gonna stop, man. All that like, huh? Rematch. Let's go. No, not right now. It is gonna be right now.
It is gonna be right now. Oh, that did not look pretty.
Let him go. It's gonna stop, man. Huh? Don't you ever call me a don't you ever say you gonna take my daughter around.
Oh yeah, by the way, Deontay Wilder's daughter has a very severe health condition, which is what motivated him to get into boxing in the first place, so he could pay for his daughter's medical expenses. And Charlie Zelenoff decided that he was going to use that as material to get after him and piss him off. So that's why he's so angry, if you're interested. And on top of all the insult throwing.
Don't you ever say you're gonna take my daughter around? Don't you ever say let my pants up, let my pants up. Don't you ever say nothing. Don't you ever. You think I don't put up with racism? I don't put up with racism. And I don't put up with Charlie, you need to get out of the and I'm done with you. No, you need to get over it.
Okay, they're done. It's done. Okay. But it's God, man. I love watching